Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz. And today I have Cedric with us, and he is going to be talking about his journey coming to the U.S. And then also, we're going to talk a little bit about his book. So, welcome, Cedric. Thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for having me. And I always appreciate the opportunity to talk about my book, the story
Yeah.
of immigrants. So yeah, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, no problem. I love doing this and I love providing the platform for this. So, yeah, if you can just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get right into how it was growing up in your home country.
All right. So, like you said, my name is Cedric Muhikira. I am from Rwanda. It's in East Africa, Central Africa, and I am a self-taught writer, storyteller. And I love talking about immigrants because I am, of course, an immigrant. And I love opening up eyes for the natives of how immigrants live lives. And then
Yeah.
I tell immigrants how we don't have to hide until we figure out the new culture, the new language. We have to
Yeah.
keep living our lives, move forward. So that is my mission in a nutshell. And I
I love
am
that.
an engineer by profession. I do construction. So
Okay.
if you happen to visit Michigan, Detroit, yeah, I'm beautifying the streets, the building, everything.
So, I actually grew up in Grand Rapids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So we would
nice.
I mean, we didn't go down to Detroit much. I will say that. Sometimes we would go, to fly out of the airport when we were visiting back home to the Dominican Republic. So we had to drive from Grand Rapids to Detroit, fly out from there and things like that. And then I remember just going to Detroit a lot when my parents were actually going through their immigration process with getting their citizenship. So I remember
Right.
going to Detroit a lot, but other than that, like, we didn't really hang out too much in Detroit, but I am from Grand Rapids, so yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, happy to hear that you are in Michigan. So come
Yes.
back and visit. Yeah, we're glad to see you now.
I definitely gotta go and visit Detroit, honestly, and go especially as an
Yeah,
adult, because again, like, the memories that I have of Detroit is literally just going for again, to the airport and then for errands in the immigration office, so
right, right.
yeah, definitely gotta go and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. So tell us about your upbringing, and then we can get into the events that brought you to the US.
Right. So I am the eldest son in my family. So I grew up well. I was not an easy child, I'd say.
Oh
I
my god.
was crazy, but later on, I took up being the elder son, took up the role, shape my youngest. And yeah, I really enjoyed life growing up. Not so much of material things. I'm a
Mm.
90s kid. I was just outside doing things.
Yeah.
And I also was involved with the youth in my country, mobilizing them, telling them what's going on. And yeah, I've always been drawn to people. How can we
Mhm.
go together to things that really benefit us all?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, and especially I love being that you were involved with the youth, and so when did you move to the US?
2019, August. Well, I usually say USA, however the great is, there were other empires before, like Egypt, like every scholar, every thinker, every person who wanted to like expand their world went to Egypt to learn and then come back to
Oh.
Europe, make, every, so now in my case, US is as big as Egypt as it was. So I'm a scholar, I thinker, want freedom to do everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, USA was the place to be, to learn and understand how the modern world works. That's what really brought me here, and some personal things, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the major thing.
Yeah, and so you landed straight in Detroit, or did you move somewhere else first and then, land in Detroit?
No, no, I've always well, I landed in JFK, but I went straight to Detroit. Like, I never been anywhere else, so I feel like in Detroit now.
Okay, did you have family in Detroit? Like, why Detroit?
Well, so Detroit is easier on immigrants, I would say, easy to transition,
Okay.
easier community of Rwandese and Burundians, and yeah, had an easier way of transitioning from where I was to Detroit.
Mm,
So and Detroit is a rebuilding city, so it makes sense to jump where people are rebuilding and then just start there and
yeah.
rebuild there as you go.
Okay, and let's talk to us about cultural shock. Like, what was the first cultural shock that you experienced moving to Detroit?
Right. Besides, well, I came 2019, so COVID happened months after. That alone, being into isolation in the new country, and yeah, that's something itself. But the actual culture shock would be the food. In Rwanda, we do have markets, supermarkets, but you never go down the aisle with thousands of cereals brands. We only have like three brands. But here it was like thousands and thousands, and I have no
Literally,
idea.
yes.
Yeah, which one to pick, and the next aisle, billions of same product. I'm like, man, and yeah, the food was really, really hard to adapt, and the language. People
Mm,
here have the lingo, like it back home. We have the way we speak, and people understand you. And here,
yeah,
people have the lingo. It's not as much
yeah.
as English, but it's more how they express and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything. Yeah, that was hard to pick on as you want to have friends of
Yeah,
diversity and everybody, but how you can actually tap into that lingo. So for the first
yeah.
3 years, I was more like into my own community, my own people,
Mhm,
and then later on, I branched out into Detroit as a large.
yeah. What is your first language?
Uh, Kinyarwanda.
Oh,
So from
okay.
Rwanda,
Yeah.
Kinyarwanda. Yeah,
Yagwanda. Okay. So how many languages do you know?
so I usually say I speak about 5
5. Yeah. Okay.
languages, but I'm not as fluent in every one of those. Yeah, but I know I cannot get lost once I speak
Yeah.
French or speak Swahili or speak
Oh,
English.
Swahili, okay.
Yeah, or
Okay, cool.
Kinyarwanda. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I will not be lost.
Yeah, and yeah, I
Mm,
asked because, doing this for 3 years now, other countries really emphasize on learning multiple languages. Unfortunately,
right.
not in the US, well, depending on, where in the US and stuff, but that's why I asked because,
Mm,
like, usually the guests can speak, more than 2 languages usually, so that's really cool.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it's easy for the commerce back there. Everybody's like a hub. US kids there, Europeans, Arabs. So it is easier. And then you have influence of colonialism, and so language
Yes.
is like everywhere. So
Yep,
you have
that's
you have
true.
to speak something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've also had guests explain to me that, like, if their country was, colonized by British, then they learned the British English, but then when they come to the US, they have to learn the American English, which is a whole 'nother thing too, so
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it's
yeah.
we speak like Rwanda is now an English speaking country, but before or three were a French speaking country. So there was like
Mm,
this change, but we
yeah.
pretty much speak the British. So here getting the accent, so it's
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
a bit
bet.
tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's another thing too, the different English accents, even here in the US. Yeah, that's very true.
Yes.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness. And so let's switch to talk about your book. So, when did you know that you wanted to write a book? And how was the writing process for you?
You're right. So I always usually start by reading.
Mm,
Reading really influenced my writing. As I read stories, I especially ever used two examples quickly to frame the reading part. Douglas, Frederick Douglass, he was a
yeah.
slave back in time, and then he learned to read. Then he understood the laws, how his people were oppressed, what can be done. It really opened his mind just reading, which, made him do good things. And then another example is the monster Frankenstein. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've seen the movie or he had the story.
Yeah.
So the monster, Victor, his creator, after hating him because the monster was so ugly and nobody wants to do anything with him, he went into total isolation. And then he had books about romantics, about feelings, and then he understood he was all alone. And then he understood people hate him because he's hideous. And then so reading really opened his feelings. Was a And then for me, in my isolation here in the US during COVID, I was reading.
Mm,
So I said, if I'm going through these experiences, which are not easy, how can
yeah.
we take the next generation of immigrants that, this happens and don't worry, there's, hope, there is things to look after. And then I use Ayan, character in the book, goes through series
Mhm.
of events which shows that you don't have to pause your life to figure out the US. You just, have to
Yeah.
go through it and then, live a life because this is it.
Yeah.
There's afterlife, but we have to live this as well. And be
Yeah.
good and be happy. It's that's that's what really drew me to writing.
Yeah, and so the book is a fiction book, but it's based on your experience, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So uh why I made it so fiction was more like limiting my friends from thinking of talking about them
Mm,
or making it
yeah.
more like me. People will not believe it. Be like, man, So I made a character, give him a blood experiences, mine and my friends. So he has,
Okay.
this base. He's well
Yeah.
rounded in every aspect.
Okay. So, were you really a DJ?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have a timetable somewhere here.
Okay. Wait, are you still DJ?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I
cool.
did it for fun. I ride motorcycle. I don't know if you see
Okay,
a
that was
helmet.
my next question. Do you ride the motorcycle?
Yes, yes, I ride
Okay.
motorcycle. So yeah, I
Nice.
went out to act Ayan's life.
Okay.
If he's a person who doesn't want to hold himself back because he's an immigrant, because he doesn't speak the language,
Yeah.
then how can we make that into practical? Like how can then Cedric, go out as
Yeah.
well and meet young people, meet people my age through
Yeah.
music, especially because Detroit is a techno
Mhm.
city.
Mhm.
So I was, bringing some Afrobeats. I'm a piano,
Okay.
laying over techno, and people love it because it's new, it's different, and it makes you being seen as a person, not as just an immigrant,
Yeah.
but as a member of society contributing.
Yeah. Okay, random
Mm.
question. Do you make
Mm.
beats?
No.
Okay. Okay. No, just asking. All right.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool though. So
Mm.
tell us a little bit about that experience. You came in 2019 and then
Mm.
we had the lockdown. So
Yes.
I mean, I know you write about it in the book, but tell us a little bit because that must have been one very scary first coming to a new
Mm.
country and I'm assuming there's family, did you have family in Detroit, or anything like that? Like, how was tell us a little bit about that experience for you.
Yeah, so I didn't have no family in Detroit. Yeah, so it was just me and a couple of friends, and which again I emphasize the importance
Mhm.
of friendship.
Yeah, and finding your
Friendship,
community.
yes, it's
Mhm.
something that really brings the you out. It's easier to just come here and nobody really knows you and nobody knows what to do with you. You're just individual. But you find your community, people who want to hear from you, especially on Thanksgivings, the potluck, you meet
Yeah,
other immigrants, you share different food, and they ask you what's going on with your life, and you share your stories, and you hear their stories, the
yeah.
similarities, and then it gives you hope. This person has
Mm,
a family, I'm single,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna get to this level if this person went through this. So that's one thing about friendship I talk about, and
Mhm.
which really helped me through the COVID times. It was
Yeah.
no money and nothing, so the emotional support was really something important.
I bet. Oh my goodness. I mean, I remember my struggle and I had my family here. And I just remember like thinking to myself, like, when will I see my dad again? Like we had no idea because we weren't leaving the house. We weren't even in a house at that time. We were in a small apartment, but still, like, it was just like, I don't know when I'm gonna see my dad again. Like, this is scary.
Right.
So
Yes.
whew, I can only imagine, with not
Mm.
having no family here and things like that. How were your family back home when COVID was happening?
So it's so different. Well, the day of war was not as high as in Western world.
Okay.
But the lockdown and the food security was really, really crazy. You can imagine a third world
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
having to have food when people are just inside, out there hustling, doing things. Yeah, it was tough. It was,
Yeah.
mhm, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Tough, tough.
unbelievable, but they went through it, and yeah, they're strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm
Mhm.
so glad. Whew, it's crazy to think about that. That was 5 years ago already. It's just
Yes.
mind blowing to think about. My gosh. Um, so back to your book, what is one
Mm,
thing although you kind of touched about the importance of friendship and community, but what is one thing that
right.
you would like readers to take away from your book?
Right. Just besides all of that, I want to open the eyes to immigrants as well.
Mm,
As
yes.
Ayan starts from the humble beginnings, nothing, and then he
Yes.
moves forward to the stages, to skydiving, to his living life. So
Yeah.
an immigrant anywhere at any stage, if they have to pick up the book, they understand the importance of moving forward and have
Yeah.
things to look to, and understanding that this life is what, we make it, and then we're here to make it, really living. Since the US greatest nation, so there's no way a person would, hide. We need people to come out. And the second part will be for the natives or any other person who don't really understand what the immigrants goes through,
Yeah.
just who understands that, we're here, cheap labor maybe, don't speak English. No, 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 there is more to it. There is a life, there is
Yeah.
dreams, there is hopes, there is struggles. So I want to have, them understand the characters, feelings, not just cliche that are associated with just immigrants.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's really good. I like that, especially
Mm,
for the non-immigrants to like understand the immigration experience and things like that. Which,
mm,
again, it's part of the concept of this podcast. Just sharing the stories of immigrants and how they came and adapted and in the struggle. And I've
yes.
talked to people from literally all over the world, and e- people come from different countries, but the immigration experience it's the
Mm,
same, you go through the culture shock, you go through adapting, you go through the homesickness, you go through all
mm,
these emotions, and then, after like a year or so, and some people it may take longer, but then they finally find their footing and are able to like, okay, make the US their home. So
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
love that.
That's correct.
And the last question, before we wrap up this conversation is, what does
Mm.
the American dream mean to you?
So, like, we started on a little in the beginning how great it is. I was comparing the empires of the past and today. So, being able to tap into this greatest empire, not just as an immigrant or living a small life, but as big as Cedric can be, as impactful as I will might even go back to Rwanda to
Mm,
show them what they really learn from this great nation. I work with concrete. We don't use as much concrete in Rwanda, and concrete is the second most used material worldwide after the water we drink. So how can I take this massive technology back here and build
wow.
it? So this is what the American dream means to me. How much can I get and then impact the world around me and then to make things, more beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Cedric, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for writing your book,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
sharing that story as well. Where can people connect with you and where can they find your book?
Right. So on Amazon, in the box, it says is there, and on IG, I go by I'm the captain now. It's easy to remember. So and my website is cedricmuhikira.com. I have blogs every once week. So yeah, I love to connect and then yeah, hear what the audience think. And thank you for this
Yeah,
opportunity.
no.
Oh, and this
No, thank you. Thank you. I will include your links in the show notes and show description so people can find your website, your Instagram, your book easily. And no, thank
yes.
you for taking the time to be here and sharing your story.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what the podcast will sound like.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Mummy Podcast.